You guys, we're going to talk today about getting referrals at a super high level. One of the most important part about this business is how to collect referrals and how to see referrals the right way, how to make sure that you're actually working smart, but also working hard at the same time. Okay, so imperative part of this business. And the great thing about getting referrals is that it's a very simple part, but it's probably the most overlooked part of the cycle of the sale. Because a lot of people, how many times have you just got a client and then, just raise your hand, you got a customer, you're excited, and then you walk out without getting pre-approach or referrals on the next people that you should see? Okay, if you've been here, 99% of people probably have done that, right? So you get excited about getting a customer and you may kind of think about it, but you don't think it's super important. So you just go to the next person, go to the next business without actually asking for referrals. And sometimes you may be thinking that you're scared to ask for referrals because you feel like that may keep them from getting coverage, even though they've already bought it, or that you feel like, but that's never going to be the case. So getting referrals actually puts a stamp on them on being a client even longer, and it keeps them on the books even longer. So when you collect referrals from people and you start signing up their friends, their family members or acquaintances, people that they know, it's going to keep them on the books even longer. And they're going to want to give you more referrals, especially if you have an incentive program to get referrals. So since my first day here, I started off as a brand new agent. I would give out $25 every time somebody gave me a referral that signed up for something. Even if they bought just a base ICU policy or the highest level of coverage, they're going to get a $25 gift card. And then in my second year, I was making more money, it moved to a $50 gift card. So every time I get a client that refers me to somebody, to an individual that signs up or to a business that signs up, they now get a $50 gift card per person. So they get 2 referrals that sign up, they get $100. So they get 4, it's $200, right? So have like your own little incentive structure that you have for your customers and really promote it to them. And people right now, this time of year, this is the number one time of year to get referrals to businesses and to people. So I'm gonna share my screen on this is a part from my coach from Southwestern Consulting. And this is just the mindset on getting referrals. And we're going to talk about how to, first it talks about getting out of a slump. But a big reason why people can be in slumps is because they're constantly cold calling 24/7. If all you're doing is cold calling, that's great. That's all I did my first 6 months here. However, you need to have that vision that that's not going to be what you're doing for the rest of your life. It may be that way if you don't get referrals. But guys, this is a very referable friendly market. The products that we sell is by far the most referable friendly product in the entire insurance business. So, but you got to make it that way for yourself. Okay. People aren't going to give you referrals unless you ask. So this is going to show you on how to ask for referrals. We're going to read just one page of this. And then I'm going to give you guys a bunch of one-liners that you can use in the field to get referrals at a high level. So I'm just going to read this to you guys. So if you are in a sales or prospecting slump, chances are it's not because you're bad at your job or that you're working for the wrong company or that there's some problem with your territory. On the contrary, my guess is that it's because you don't have enough referrals. Nothing evaporates call reluctance and turns around sales momentum by gathering a bunch of referrals. If you don't have them, it's probably because you either have a fear of asking or because there are some technical mistakes you're making when you do ask. So make these 2 servant selling quick changes to your technique and you'll likely double your referrals. So we're going to cover these 2 techniques. So number 1 is ask for introductions, not referrals. Ask for introductions, not referrals. So we have found out that using the word referral when asking will tend to create pressure on the person. So from the salesperson's point of view, gathering a referral seems like a steep and difficult task because psychologically, there's something weird about it that almost makes us feel like we're asking a customer to put one of their friends in harm's way. Of course, that's not the case, but for some reason, that's psychologically what it likens itself to, especially for those of us who have not yet mastered this skill of asking. And from your customer's point of view, asking them to give you a referral creates pressure on them because they want to do a good job for you by giving you someone who might be a legitimate prospect, but they also don't want to upset one of their friends by passing along their name. This is critical, this paragraph right here. So instead of saying, who can you refer me to? That's what you don't do. Never say, who can you refer me to? Try asking, is there anyone you'd be willing to introduce me to? Is there anyone that you'd be willing to introduce me to? It's more than just semantics. It's a paradigm shift from thinking about pushing your customers into creating selling situations for you, instead of just asking for your friends, who do you want to refer me to? So, and also, let's go to point number 2. Point number 2, the other mistake is ask by demographics, not by psychographics. So you're probably thinking about, what does that actually mean? So this is huge. The other mistake, so, and you guys get this too, of, when you're sitting out with a business owner and they're like, oh man, I don't know if anybody will be interested in this. Let me get a brochure and I'll ask and see if anybody's interested. And then I'll let you know if they're interested. And guess what? The answer is 99.99999% of the time. Yeah, they're not interested, man. I asked around all 400 employees and not one of them wanted to talk to you about insurance. Well, guess what? That's the same thing as getting referrals. Yeah, let me ask my brother if he's interested in talking to you about getting supplemental cancer insurance, and then I'll give you his number if he's interested. Well, guess what? You're never going to get that brother's name and number, right? If they ask first. So we're going to kind of crush that objection. So, and this is how you do it. So the other mistake that we see a lot of salespeople make is they ask one person, their customer, to speak to the interest level of another person. They basically say, who do you know that might be interested in cancer insurance, accident insurance? But it's not only near impossible for me to speak to another person's potential interest level, psychographic in your product, it also creates more pressure on me as the customer. Because guys, I promise you, people aren't talking about cancer insurance, their friends and family at a cookout. They're like, hey, hey mom, what kind of cancer insurance do you have? What kind of accident policy do you currently have right now? You probably have never had that conversation in your entire life until you started working here at Family Heritage, right? So there's other questions that you could ask, like, hey, who do you know, like, who just had a baby? Okay, because if you're selling insurance, a lot of young families, they like to stack up on insurance when they start having kids. Who do you know that's currently pregnant? Who do you know that just had a baby? That's another way to ask a question to get referrals, okay? So I'm going to give you guys right now a bunch of one-liners to get a ton of referrals in the field. So once you're done giving a presentation, whether somebody buys or doesn't buy, let me share this other screen. Here we go. Here we go. So let's kind of scroll down here a little bit. So I'm going to teach you guys how to get referrals to the B2B market, how to get referrals to other businesses. That's the number one way that you want to get referrals, is to other businesses in the area. That way you can open up more doors to other locations, or, other different types of businesses you currently haven't, found your way in yet, if that makes sense, networking your way in. But also I'm going to teach you how to get referrals to other people that they know, individuals that may not even work. It may be their parents or grandparents, or maybe somebody who just is a stay-at-home mom, right? Who's your sister, right? So get referrals to individuals and to businesses. Okay, so first we're going to talk about memory joggers to collect a ton of referrals. So when you're asking for somebody, make sure at the very beginning, when you're sitting down with somebody, you ask those rapport building questions, because that's going to help you get more referrals at the end. Like, hey, Jason, you said, like, are you originally from here? Oh my gosh, what high school did you go to? Oh, no way. You went to South Point High School right here in Belmont. That's awesome. Do you still have family here in the area? Cool. You have brothers and sisters? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Holy smokes. Guys, those questions that you ask when you first sit down with somebody, put the information, the fact-finding questions into your brain and put it into your memory bank, because you're going to use the same that same knowledge at the end when you get referrals. So when you're asking people, hey, are you from the area? And they say yes, get excited, because you're going to collect a boatload of referrals from them at the very end. What high school did you go to? South Point. Oh, I'm excited. You have brothers and sisters out here too? Cool. Do your parents still work? Awesome. And you're excited because you're going to collect about 5 to 10 referrals from them at the very end, because they've already given you some good ammunition that you can use later on down the road. And then you always ask when you're building rapport, where do you used to work at? That's in your sales talk. Where did you used to work at before here? Get excited because you're going to get referred to that company here in about 30 minutes once you're done with your presentation. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to segue into that here in a second. That way you get all this information on the front end. So when you get done with the presentation, you have some good ammo to gather tons of referrals. So here's a good one-liner. Number one is, who are your competitors? When you get done protecting them, whether they buy or don't buy, hey, Jason, no big deal that this is not for you, man. But, you know, you obviously work at this car shop. Who's your biggest competitors out here, buddy? You know, who are y'all's biggest competitors? Who is y'all's biggest competition in the car business out here? What other car dealerships are out here in the area? Perfect. Do you know the manager's name of that store? Do you know the manager's name or GM's name of that car dealership? You know, let's say that you're in an AutoZone. Hey, John, who's your biggest competitors out here, buddy? Napa Auto Parts. Perfect. What's the manager's name over there? Perfect. Boom. That's a referral right there. Any other locations? Oh, you guys have another location on South Street? Perfect. Who's the manager over there? Get referrals, guys. Just it's simple. Hey, Jason, you said you used to work at MCI before this. Perfect. Hey, who's the manager over there? Who's the HR? Perfect. I'm gonna go talk to them. And write it down. Make sure once they give you this information, thank them. Like, thank you, Jason. Man, you're making my job. I work pretty much exclusively on word of mouth from people like you. So thank you for making my job a lot easier. By the way, if MCI lets me come in and talk to their employees, since you gave me their name of the people that I need to talk to, I will give you a $50 gift card to your favorite restaurant if they let me come in and talk to their employees. Or if Teresa, the HR lady, just buys a policy for herself, and she just buys this, you get a gift card to your favorite restaurant as well. How cool will that be? By the way, Jason, what's your favorite restaurant? Cracker Barrel? Perfect. I'm gonna write that down too. So, and guys, you said you have two brothers and you have a sister out here. Perfect. Where do they work at? Do they work in Charlotte or in Gastonia? Or do they work in Mount Holly? Perfect. What did your brother do? Okay, he's a cop from Mount Holly. Perfect. What's your brother's name? Thank you so much. I'm gonna write this down right now. Hey, you want to happen to know his boss, like the chief of police up there, would you? Perfect. Jason's his name too. Perfect. That makes it easy. So I'm gonna write all this information down right now. And you said you have a sister, right? What does she do? She's a nurse. Cool. Does she work for Atrium Health or Caramont here in Gastonia? She works at Caramont. Perfect. Do you know what location she works at? The one off, you know, Charlotte Road or the one off Shopton Road? Oh, the one off Shopton. I know exactly where that is. Do you know? Okay, what is her name? Thank you so much. Do you know her manager's name there? You don't know her manager's name? No big deal. Well, hey, I'm going to go at least introduce myself to her in that location. And same thing, if her sister signs up for this, gift card to Cracker Barrel. Or if her manager or boss lets me come to do like a presentation to all her staff, you get a gift card at your favorite restaurant as well. Guys, is this making sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
awesome.
Perfect. This is how you get referrals to other businesses. And then you can segue to so many other ways, you know, like your parents, do they still work? Yes. Thank you. That's awesome. What does your dad do? I'm going to write this down too. What does your mom do? Do you know their boss's name? What does your best friend do out here? Who's your hairstylist? What salon does she work at? Is she the boss there, or do you know the boss's name of that salon? Where's your favorite shopping center? Where's your favorite restaurant? You already said Cracker Barrel. Do you know the GM's name of that restaurant? Because I'm going to get him protected too. Guys, you can get referrals to every different type of business. It's almost too easy. If you ask these questions, you shall receive. You ask and you shall receive, but you have to ask these questions. Now, I could go for probably 30 minutes on other fact-finding questions. These are all called fact-finding questions, right? Where did your cousin? Do you have any cousins out here? Where did you work at 2 jobs ago? Right? Right. I mean, there's so many different ways. Your best friend from college, you sent him to college. Where does he work at nowadays? Right. So making sure that you're getting information on these people, get the name of the business, the person who they know, how they know them, write that down in your notes section on your iPad. You can transfer it to your CRM later on in the day if you want to. And then also try and get the manager's name of that business and HR. Sometimes they'll know it, sometimes they won't know it. If it's one of their competitors, like, hey, who are your biggest competitors out here? 99% of the time, they're going to know the upper management for that business too. Oh yeah, our biggest competitor is Tractor Supply. Oh yeah, they're big out here too. right? Do you know the GM or manager of that location? Oh yeah, his name is Scott Steele. Perfect. I'm gonna go see Scott, whether he buys or not. If he lets me talk to his employees, I'll give you a gift card. But if he does sign up for himself, you get a gift card automatically just for telling me Scott's name. Sound good? Perfect. And really thank them tremendously. So thank them, and they will keep giving you more referrals. So guys, when they give you referrals, don't stop. Like if they keep giving you more and more and more, if they spend 15 minutes giving you referrals, keep it going. It's making your job so much easier. And guys, you also got to know that some people won't give you any referrals. Just like some people don't buy insurance from you. Some people won't give you any. They just won't. But most people will if you ask. And here's a buying atmosphere. If somebody says this, like, hey, I don't know if I want to give you their name. I don't know if I want to give you, their number. This is exactly what you say to that, because I promise you will get this objection today at some point. Hey, you know what, John? If your brother gets it, great. If not, it's really not a big deal. That use the buying atmosphere. They get it, great. If not, it's no big deal. But who are 2 or 3 people that you would at least want me to get introduced to? Who are 2 or 3 people that you would want to introduce me to? So people that if they got sick, you would want for sure them to have a backup plan in place so they don't lose everything. You don't have to give me 250 names. Just 2 or 3 is fine. That's what Justin Ellingson says. You don't have to give me all 250 names in your iPhone. 2 or 3 is fine. Hey, just pull out your phone real quick and go through it. Who are your favorites? Who are your top 4 favorite names? Perfect. And once they give you their name, immediately ask for their number as well. So once they give you like their brother's name, get their number as well. Where do they work at? Okay. And guys, once you're done getting referrals, that's how you collect B2B referrals. Individual referrals is very simple. Like, hey, who are maybe 2 or 3 other people that if they were to get sick, you would want me to talk to them before that were to happen? Like, hey, so the good news is, John, the good news, Van, I can show this to anybody in America. Our company, we're a national company, but who are maybe 2 or 3 people that like, man, if they were to get sick, regardless of where they work, regardless of where they live, how far they are away, it could be anybody in America, but who are 2 or 3 people that if they were to get sick or hurt, you would definitely want them to have a backup plan. That way they don't lose everything. Who are those people to you? Who are the close people to you? Perfect. Thank you so much. So Stephen, what is Stephen's phone number? Perfect. Where does he live? Where does he work at? Now, if they live relatively close by, you're going to see them in person. If they live probably 2 hours plus further away, you're definitely going to call them and try and set up a Zoom appointment if you can. Okay. But most referrals, guys, this is the biggest thing. How to see referrals is in person at all possible. So when you get the business's name and their name, the name of the person that you want to talk to, the name of the business and the manager's name, go ahead and Google that information that night and you can put it on your CRM and upload that information. Okay. Make sure you upload that business and put in the notes on it. That way you can kind of have it, you can organize your next day by having some referrals kind of jotted in there as well. Okay. Making sure that at nighttime, all these businesses that they're telling you about, their referrals, they're where their brother or sister works at, make sure you put that in onto your CRM at night. That way you have it already planned out. Okay. You can still see some cold calling and what's called the T approach as well. Whenever you go to a business and the referral is not there or the manager team is not there, do the T approach. Go to the business on the left and right, and you can use that referral business as a name. Like, yeah, I was actually just catching up with MCI. I was going to talk to Stephen, the owner. Just wanted to stop in and introduce myself over here. So some of the best businesses you get in aren't even the referrals that you go see, is the businesses right next door to those referrals. It's called using the T approach effectively. And guys, the biggest thing about getting referrals is that when you get all these people's names and number, don't just try and call them and set up an appointment, because that never works out. Very rare. I mean, that's a very rare closing percentage. You want to see them in person. Now, if they live in a different state, yes, call them and try and set up an appointment. If they live 4 hours away, yes, but you at all costs want to see your clients face to face. And if it's, 45 minutes away, you're not going to leave your territory and drive 45 minutes away. But, once you've gotten 15 to 20 referrals, in that one area, then maybe you can take a half a day or a day and go crush those referrals for one day. Okay. And if another agent works in that area, then yeah, just tell another agent, you guys can go work those referrals together, or you can pass them referrals, because if you pass them referrals, they're probably going to pass referrals to you for people in your area as well. We're a team here. So I'm going to share one last little thing, and this is from the cell. I'm going to stop right now. Any questions or comments so far?
This is money.
So this is thanks, Zach. This is from the sales talk. This is page 28. So a lot of that content I just shared, guys, I literally pulled it from the sales talk. So I literally created this part using page 28 of the sales talk. I kind of elaborated on it a little bit. But guys, all those memory joggers I just shared with you guys are right here on page 28. So it teaches you how to get business referrals. And then down at the bottom, it teaches you how to get referrals to individuals. So how to get B2B, it's called memory joggers. Hey, hey, John, who are 3 to 4 cool businesses here in Gastonia that I can pop in and see quickly? Hey, this is another great thing I kind of skipped. Is there anyone else here at work that I can talk to? Get referrals to the other people that work at that business. Just because you sat down with one person on that business and they didn't buy, it doesn't mean that it's a no for everybody. You still need to go and protect and sit down with all of the other employees, whether that first person buys from you or not. Hey, John, real quick, I see there's a guy over there. What is his name? His name's Steve. Perfect. I'm gonna go introduce myself to Steve really quick. I can see a lady back in the factory over there. What is her name? Her name's Teresa. Perfect. I'm gonna write her name down. I'm gonna go see Steve first, and I'm gonna catch up with Teresa. Does that sound cool? Perfect. If they get it, great. If not, it's no big deal. But while I'm here, I'm just gonna give them a quick introduction of kind of what I do. If they want to spend a few minutes with me, great. If not, it's no big deal. And then you go introduce yourself to Steve. Sometimes people leave the business and they never go back to it because that first person that they sit down doesn't buy. That is not good. That's how you're going to fly through your territory way too quickly. You need to make sure that you try and sit down with every single employee in every single business, and do your job the right way. Somebody needs to mute their phone that's eating cereal right now. I don't know who that is, but and guys, all those fact-finding questions are on here. So, where did you work before this? Who handled insurance over there? Are there any previous coworkers at MCI where you used to work at, Jason? Any people from that business that I should talk to while I'm there? Who are your best friends from the company that you just came from? So you just came from MCI. So talk to, Jason, he's a head manager. Teresa handles the benefits. Besides them, who are your best friends that work over there at MCI? Who are your buddies you used to go hang out with and go grab a beer with on Friday night? Okay, perfect. I'm going to write their names down. Trip and Jason. Perfect. I'm going to write down their names as well. Boom. Good referral. Okay, that's how I got inside plastic products in Kings Mountain about 5 years ago. I protected a guy, got his I knew where his brother works at. The boss there was not very nice, but luckily I was able to get referred to the guy's brother. So I was able to sit down with him, get him protected, and then he was able to give me a warm introduction to the head of HR for that company, and she let me come in and do a big enrollment there. But if I just would have approached the manager with no warm names there, he would have definitely kicked me out very quickly. Okay, so luckily I was able to get a warm name who wasn't the manager first, got to sit down with them, got them protected, and they were able to give me a warm introduction to the manager and to the head of HR there. So get as many names on these companies as possible. It's getting good pre-approach and making it your job that much easier. Getting the other locations for the companies that you're in. Guys, the good news is most businesses that you walk into, there's other locations. So just ask them, hey, where are your other locations at? Blossman's Heating and Air. You guys have a location up in Lexington? Perfect. You guys have one in Hickory as well? Awesome. Who's the manager over there? Boom. I may go see those locations myself, or I may pass it to our rep in those areas, but I'm going to go in and get that information right now and just write it down. And guys, we're going to kind of wrap up here. The last part about getting referrals, the best referral is the people next door. So just because you're getting referrals to all these other businesses all over the territory, hey, I've already seen Stephanie 2 doors down from you. She runs the Ford dealership. I've already seen, Andy, he runs the, he's a manager of Target, but here it looks like some kind of factory. Just so I can be polite, this is called getting pre-approached, same as getting referrals. Just so I can be polite, who should I ask for next door? Just so I can be, guys, if you ask it like that, they're always going to give you names. Just so I can be polite. I've already seen, Jason, he runs a Ford dealership. I've already seen Teresa who runs Target, but next door to this factory, just so I can be super polite, who should I ask for next door? If they know the person's name next door, anybody's name, they're going to give it to you, because that's a very professional, proper way to ask for somebody's name. Thank you so much. Do you know anybody else that works there? Oh, thank you. So I'm going to write this down because I'm going to forget unless I write it down, Van. I have a short memory. I'm going to write this down right now. Sound good? And then the company, it looks like another dealership. Looks like a Volvo dealership. Who should I ask for over there? Okay, perfect. Okay, that's Toy Bellamy. Perfect. I'm going to write down his name. It looks like another dealership on the other side of them. Who's the GM over there? You don't know them? Okay, no big deal. What about the one like right over kind of diagonally from you guys? It looks like a heating and air company. Who runs that place over there? Thank you so much. And you guys write their names down as soon as possible, because if you don't write their names down, you're going to walk to those businesses next door and completely forgot the person's name that you're supposed to ask for, right? You will forget their names unless you write it down most of the time. So make sure you write it down and just be a professional, take notes. You got to be an avid note taker here. Every time you leave a business or when you're inside the business, jotting down all of these notes is critical for your success, and using those notes when you walk into the next business. Okay. So guys, that is how you get, referrals to businesses, referrals to individuals in the business. Guys, this time of year when it's colder outside, I love seeing warm prospects, working hard, but also working smart at the same time. Your efficiency is going to skyrocket. Your closing percentage is going to skyrocket. You're going to get a ton of families protected, these next 10 days from friends and family of people. And it's going to open a lot more doors as well. You're going to get inside companies that you just want to get inside if you're just cold calling them with no names. Since you have names of other people who already work there and their brother. And one last thing, if you guys listen to the Elevators podcast, it is by Cajun Lob. He literally has an excellent part on getting referrals. And there's one last thing I completely forgot to talk about. It's tell them like, hey, I'm definitely going to go see your brother at MCI. I'm definitely going to go see your brother there. Or I'm going to go to his house, or, I've already got, I'm definitely going to reach out. If he lives 4 hours away, like, hey, I'm definitely going to call your brother to set up an appointment because he lives so far away. But can you just let your brother know? Can you let your brother know that I will be reaching out to him? And you can say, hey, hey, Eric, I just got some great stuff with Family Heritage with this really cool guy named Kyle. You may like it, you may not. I think that you're going to like it. If you can just give him a few minutes whenever he calls you or whenever he reaches out in person, that would be great. So huge buying atmosphere. Like, you got to coach them on what to say to their friends and family. Like, hey, Eric, you're going to get a call from this guy named Kyle. He's with Family Heritage. I actually am a client of his. You may like it, you may not, but just give him a few minutes whenever he calls you. It's some good stuff. I think you're going to like it, man. So you can coach them on what to say, and they can even CC you on that text whenever they text their brother that, like, hey, man, include me in that text. That way they kind of know I'll be calling them. Or if you're going to see them in person because you're close by, make sure that you word that text as like he's going to pop by your business at some point. That way, whenever you go see him, you're like, hey, actually, I was just hanging out with your brother Kyle over at Target. He's actually a client of mine. Now, did Kyle tell you I was going to stop by? Oh, yeah, he shot me a text a couple of days ago that you're going to be stopping by. Hey, well, nice to meet you, man. Good to meet you. You must be Eric. Yeah, great. Your brother's awesome. Build your rapport to go right into your approach. Easy sit down. Right? So, guys, I'm going to pause there. Let's